You're a busy man.
Well, as are you, and you managed to squeeze in a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was gonna happen tonight.
You didn't think it was gonna happen?
Well, I never know. Like, some nights, like, my appointments don't end till late. Sometimes they go earlier. Like, it all... I never know, you know? Like...
Oh, right.
Last night, I was out of my appointment by, like, 7.
Oh. What time does it start?
What, my appointments?
Yeah, what time does your latest appointment typically start?
6 p.m.
6 p.m., eh?
Uh-huh.
Isn't that usually, like, dinner time for you?
Yeah, I guess so.
Curious, what's the longest appointment?
My longest appointment?
Yeah.
Like 5.5 hours.
5.5 hours?
Yeah.
Did your ass hurt? Were you standing the entire time?
No.
I'm confused.
Standing,
Did,
sitting.
like, the cushion on your seat eventually kind of just thin out after 5.5 hours of sitting or standing?
It's a mix of both, you know. I don't think that physically I felt any kind of pain.
Oh. I feel like if I was like sitting at like a kitchen table or something discussing, you know, potential appointment stuff, whatever it is that you talk about, for 5.5 hours.
I mean, sometimes I'm sitting on people's couches, sometimes I'm sitting at the table. It's always different.
Oh, so you basically, not only do you get to sit there and watch, you do a whole house tour, don't you?
Kind of, yeah. It's like wherever you want to sit.
Well, this is our washroom. Did you want to see anything else that maybe you cannot renovate or something?
Hey, thank you, Game Warrior. JJ Fist says, sometimes I join the family. Yeah, you know, it's like... It's, you know, you start the appointment out, you're sitting down in the living room, and then you stand up, and then you go to the bathroom, you check things out, and then you come back, and either you're sitting at the kitchen table or the dining room, or, you know, you're on the couch. It really depends. Whenever somebody has a nice couch, though, it's really nice. Like, you can kind of just... I always just sit back and I go like, this is such a nice couch. I can fall asleep here.
Is that the first thing you say?
Always, like whenever it's a comfy couch, yeah.
Oh, no.
JJ Fist says by the end of it...
Hey, why don't you take it? That's your down payment.
I you know, I might work with that. JJ Fist says,
if you have someone that's like, you know, pretty good with like, you know, jokes and such, like, do you think you can get away with saying like, hey, can I take this couch as a down payment?
Yeah, probably. JJ says by the end of it, you're living there. It's what's funny is like whenever I so the way the process works is like you go into the house and you check out the bathroom first, because sometimes we go into a bathroom and we can't even do work in it, you know, like some people, like their tub is like falling through their living room ceiling. Like, guys, you need a general contractor who's going to fix your, you know, your beams and your joists. Like, you're far away from hiring us. Like, you got some other stuff you got to take care of. And so I never bring in like this big bag that I have. I have this giant bag with all of our samples in it and stuff like that. And every single appointment, I make the same exact joke. Everybody laughs. I walk back in with the bag and I go like, hey, just so you know, I don't know if you knew this or not, but I'm living here for the next couple months and I promise I'll be out soon. And then they're always like, because everybody goes like, wow, that's a big bag. It's like, yeah, well, I don't know if you knew or not, but I'm moving in. So thanks.
Nice.
It's funny, the same jokes that you tell every single time get the same laughs. It's so funny.
Yeah, and it never gets old to you, right? Or is that just a me thing? That might be just me thing.
You know what?
It's the same old joke over and over.
No, it's kind of like a Norm Macdonald joke. Like, you listen to it and it's like, is this funny? But then you realize that like it's funny because you're saying the same thing over and over and over, and it shouldn't be funny, and that's what makes it funny. It's like I'm telling the same joke just over and over and over, and people find it funny. And that to me is the funny part. Like, people are still laughing at this. I don't know if I'm
You're
explaining.
not
that right.
laughing at your joke as much as you're laughing at how foolish they sound laughing at your joke.
It's not even that they're foolish. It's just like
Your old joke
I've heard it so many
times.
times. I'm like, there's no, you know, it's like I'm hearing it 18 times a week, right? These people are only hearing it for the first time. So for me, it's like, you know, after a couple of months and you said the same thing every single time, you know, you're just like, it's funny. People are still laughing. I try and have like dad jokes spread throughout the whole thing, you know?
All right. Push the button. Push the button.
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
Oh, I pressed the button.
Podcast has started.
I pressed the button, man. Yo, what up, guac?
Walk all.
Guac.
Almost 2 years since you've seen this. Listen.
Woohoo.
The Canadians have made him Canadian. What?
Huh?
Okay.
Canadians.
So what happened? Yeah, I don't know. Game Warriors, like, just in the chat, just, you know, the Canadians have made him Canadian.
Well, he's an adopted Canadian, essentially.
Oh, yeah, okay. Sure.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Well, look, when
we
you
don't
know,
exactly do well with conflict, so yeah, sure.
yeah, just come in my house. Don't fight me. Yeah.
We'll leave the door open for you.
Sorry about the mess in the kitchen. You know. I hope you don't mind. You know, the mess.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I'm in your house, bro. How have you
treat
been?
This house like it's yours.
Yeah, exactly. An American goes in, this is like my house. I'm gonna treat it like my house. Canadian's like, yeah, treat it like your house.
Conflict. No conflict.
I wonder if there's any like
been...
high pressure sales Canadians, you know? I just can't imagine
What's that?
Like, okay, like in my industry, in the sales industry, there are people who resort to like high pressure sales, right? Not typically something I get involved in at all. But like that's the thing. I'm wondering if in Canada there's any high pressure salespeople, you know? Just curious. Yeah, because everybody's afraid of offending each
like
other.
Our definition of high pressure sales is like very different from your definition.
If you want to do it, you can. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. Nailed it.
If you want to, you know, no pressure. I just, you know, I can, you know, whatever you want to do.
Yep. Every time you like you like mildly bump into a table. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Sorry to look at your bathroom here. It's kind of a mess.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah, sorry to look at your bathroom. I apologize. You just knock on the door. Apologize for knocking so loud.
Sorry for showing up for my appointment here. I apologize for bothering you.
I apologize for coming early.
One of the weirdest things.
I apologize for coming on time. I apologize for coming late.
One of the weird things about my job is like sometimes I go to somebody's house and they forgot about it or they claim that they never called. You know, you hear like plenty of weird things. And so like it's my job to get into somebody's house, right? It's like the job is get in, get the price down, and get them to move forward essentially. If it makes sense. Like if we can't do the work in the house, it doesn't make sense. But for the most part, like you do that. So the other day, this was actually last night, and I had the director
it's been long days for you, hasn't it?
It has been long days.
Oh no, I think it was last night.
It was last night.
I get that feeling, man. I understand. But go on. Sorry, with your story.
So this lady opens the door, and it's just a cloud of just like weed smacking me right in the face, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like this is not what we would say in the selling world is like this is not an environment created for success, right? Like you ethically you probably shouldn't be trying to sell somebody who's high. You know, that tends to be frowned upon, so you don't typically do that. So but I'm supposed to get price down on the table anyway. It's my job. So I go in, or actually I'm standing there. She's like, you guys were supposed to call on your way over. Nobody ever called. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I can't believe they didn't call. It's really annoying when that doesn't happen. She's like, it is really annoying. She's like, I just, I wasn't ready for this tonight. I'm like, hey, look, I hear you. But right, it's my job to get into the house. So I go, hey, look, I'm already here. You okay if I just take 2 seconds to look at your bathroom to see if we'd even be able to do work in it? She's like, oh yeah, that's fine. Ended up doing like a whole appointment. Not a whole appointment, but because that one was a little wacky. They had loud music blasting, a whole bunch of people in there smoking weed. So like I wasn't there long. But it's like, it's weird when you come into a situation and you're like, I guess I still have to do my job. I still have to get into this house. It's an interesting job. I mean, I love it. I've never done anything like this before. I've never done anything quite like this before. And it's so much fun. People are like puzzles. Like they are legitimately like puzzles. Like I feel like when I'm doing an appointment, I feel like I'm trying to solve a Rubik's Cube,
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
That's
because when you do it enough, you hear the same things from people over and over, and you see the same personalities over and over. And so like I'll go into an appointment, I'll be like, oh yeah, this is like those 5 other appointments that I had. Once they say like once you've been doing this for about 6 months, you basically don't even see anything new. Like everything's kind of the same, and you can kind of anticipate what people are going to say, how they're going to feel. And so it's really, you know what it's like? This was like the same thing like with my my newborn. When Ezra was just born, he would cry and get upset. And I was like, okay, he's crying and upset. It means a couple different things. He could be hungry. He could need his diaper changed. He could just need to be held. He could want mommy. He could want dad. Like there was like a couple different things, and you had to kind of try and figure it out, and then you solve the puzzle once your baby's calm and you figure it out. And I feel like it's the same thing in sales. It's the exact same thing. It's like somebody gets upset, somebody's like, oh yeah, I don't, it's like you have to have the experience and know how to take the conversation in a certain direction to, help them out. Most people are kind of like, yeah, let's do it, But every once in a while, like there's just some personalities and just some people who just can't make a decision. They want to, but they're like incapable. So you kind of have to make a decision for them, unless they go like, no, I don't want to do it. Like, okay, hey, no problem. I'm not trying to force you to do anything. But there have been a couple of people who are like I had one lady. I'm sorry, I'm just like ranting here. I had one lady who's like, look, I need you to sell me on this. I need you to sell me on this. I'm like, look, I'm not going to sell you on anything. I'm just going to talk to you about it, okay? It's just like, it's just funny.
I need you to sell me on this.
She's like,
I convince you. I need you to sell me.
Yeah. She's like, I want you to sell me on this. I'm like, well, why do you have us out? Like, what did you see about our company that you even had us out in the first place? She's like, well, I saw your reviews, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, there you go. That's the reason to do it. You saw the reviews. You see how happy people are. It's like, you kind of do that. It's like a puzzle. It's fun. I love this job. I love it so much.
Well, that's good.
But yeah. How are you?
Glad you're enjoying it. I'm like mentally and physically exhausted.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Well,
is that obvious? I'm so sorry. I'll try to work on it making.
No. I mean, I get that as in like I understand being. I will say that like my job's not physically demanding, but mentally for sure.
Right, yeah, because you got to do a lot of talking, right? So like that's fair. That's
like
fair.
3-4 hour long conversations about the same thing 3 times a day.
Right, where you possibly even have to repeat the same thing over and over again a couple times just to get it in.
My hour-long pitch is supposed to be exactly the same for everybody who I talk to.
It's supposed to be the exact same, but not everybody has the same questions.
Pretty much the exact same. Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like we have like a process that we're supposed to follow from start to finish for that whole process is about an hour, sometimes more.
Interesting.
It's like a script. I feel like an actor if I'm being honest.
You're an actor.
Yeah, like I have lines, and I'm supposed to deliver them a certain way and say them at a certain time and say certain lines if they say certain lines. It's like, I don't know. It's fun. It's a really, there's a part of me that just wants to kind of like record what I do and like make little videos out of it, but then I need people's permission and all that nonsense.
Start bleeping out names eventually.
Maybe, it's not a bad idea. But it's fun.
So, Mr. and Mrs. Bleep. what would you like to have done today?
Yeah. I mean, that's literally my first question. It's like, well, hey, why did you guys call us out here? What's going on? And the idea for that is just to get ammunition for like, hey, like you tell me why you have me out. That's a reason for you to buy. Oh, we have you out because we have a mold issue. Okay, fair enough. So if you get to the very end, you're like, I don't know if I want to do this. It's like, look, you got this mold issue. It's why you called us out. You know, you got to get it taken care of. Trust me, we're going to do a great job. You know, it's like you're basically storing. I'm giving away all the secrets. You're basically like building ammunition the entire time for helping these people. You know, and like for me, I have not just drank the Kool-Aid of my company. I have dove in head first. Like I am so sold on my company, so it's very easy for me to talk to people about it. But yeah, I it's fun, dude. It's so much fun. You see some stuff.
Nice.
I had one family. They didn't speak any English. They didn't speak any English whatsoever. It was this like this Chinese family, and the whole appointment was me pointing to things and them pointing to things and us holding up our fingers for like numbers, and I ended up selling the appointment. Like it was amazing. It was so cool, and like no words were exchanged where they understood what I was saying or I understood what they were saying. You know, it was really neat.
That's interesting. How would you? I wonder how. Yeah, okay.
All numbers,
Communications
man.
is kind of crazy, eh?
Well, I'm also armed with like a lot of pictures, right? And so, you know, in an appointment like that, it's lots of visuals, putting things in people's hands, showing them pictures, pulling up like our company and showing like, hey, you know, 4.9 out of 5 stars, you know, and like I'll point to that and I'll do like a thumbs up. It's like, is that good? And they're like, yeah, thumbs up, that's good.
Oh wow, okay.
You know, so it's fun, man. It's really cool. I love it.
I suppose you guys don't have anybody that like a translator or something, or somebody that may speak the same language, and
nah, you don't.
They had to call you guys, right? And from there must have been some kind of, unless there was some miscommunication.
No, what it probably was, it was probably a family member. Like a lot of times it'll be like people's like kids. You know, if like for this Chinese family's house that I was in, a lot of times what will happen is if like the parents don't speak any kind of English, none of the older relatives do. Like the kids normally do. So it's like I'm talking to the kids, they're talking to their parents. That's usually how it works. But in this case, you're right. Like there was nobody there who spoke English, but it was probably a kid who like set up the appointment and everything like that. Maybe they just weren't available that night. I don't know.
And then you just happened to come like early, and then yeah,
I came when I was supposed to. Yeah, but yeah. I was there on time, so.
That's okay.
Oh, how's this last week been for you?
It's been busy. It's been pretty busy.
Yeah,
I got a couple of Bollywood movies that's been like really busy for our theaters.
Oh, really? Bollywood movies are like really like popular up there in Canada?
Yeah. It's not. I mean, it's not a surprise, is it? Really?
I don't know. Like the movie theater that's near me that I would always go to was AMC theaters. I don't ever remember like a foreign film being shown at AMC. I could totally be wrong. It's not like I'm at the movie theater all the time or like that I work there. Could very well be that they constantly have foreign films playing. But I don't remember ever seeing anything out of Bollywood, except for there's that one. What was that one movie that really put Bollywood on the map? I felt like it was like some musical. Slumdog Millionaire, was that it?
They're all musicals, man.
That's what I mean. Slumdog Millionaire.
Did you see how many people walk out of the theater like while there's some kind of song playing? They all go for their bathroom breaks and such. So like, you know. I'll be walking down the hallway and I'll just see a bunch of people getting out. And sometimes like when I'm stressed out, I'm internally freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, is this theater done already? Holy shit, like, I'm marking behind on this, right? But then you walk by the theater and it's like, oh no, they're just in the song. Oh, okay. So like,
yeah, there you go.
Because your heart skips a beat or a couple of beats, and you're just like, oh god, what do I do?
What films from like foreign sources do you feel like get played the most outside of like American? I'm sure that with Hollywood, there's a ton of American movies that are playing there, but I mean, anywhere like not from North America.
It would probably be Bollywood,
Yeah.
or
Okay.
Hollywood, for sure.
Bollywood and Hollywood.
Um, it's. I mean, I feel like the last Korean movie, at least I think, that came out in our theater that was released, I want to say it was Parasite.
You said Korean movie?
Yeah, either
Okay.
Parasite or the Train to Busan sequel. I don't remember which one came latter.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of those before.
Oh, really? You've never heard of Parasite?
I mean maybe, but
that was pretty big when it came out. I think it was 2019.
Okay.
I think. And then Train to Busan was also a pretty big movie that was also released. It's one of those zombie movies.
All right, let me look up Parasite real quick. You said 2019.
Didn't do that great though. I think it was 2019 when Parasite came out.
All right, let me see if I recognize any of this. Images. Nah. Nope. No way.
It's a South Korean movie. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I can't imagine the North Koreans are putting out too many movies. You know?
Why is that?
They like to keep things internal. They keep their movies for themselves. Okay, yeah, I don't recognize Parasite. What was the other movie you said?
It was like the sequel to Train to Busan, so I think it was called Peninsula.
Trained to Busan. Oh,
yeah,
Train.
Okay. Train to Busan. They had a sequel called Peninsula. Yeah, okay, so I guess Peninsula was the last movie that came out for us that was Korean. And that was in the year 2020. That was during the pandemic.
Good timing.
Lots of people. Yeah. It was like Train to Busan was really popular when it came out, and then the sequel was also like, oh my god, I wanted to go check out the sequel. But of course, during the pandemic, there wasn't really much kind of like going on in the theaters at that time because like we had extremely limited amount of guests that we can be in a theater at once. I think we were limited to like 50 people in
that makes sense
at that time, and they were split like every other row could not have a single guest in it, and then they had to be at least 4 seats away from each other, unless they're like a couple or a family at the time.
Right. Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, the only Korean show that I really know is Squid Games. I don't know if I can really think of any others that I personally have watched. Not like I'm opposed, I just haven't. I also don't really watch that many movies, if I'm being honest. There's like a bunch on my list on Netflix to watch, and you know what I end up doing? I always end up just watching like business or finance movies. Like okay. I add all this stuff to my list, and then I'm like, oh, I'll watch Wolf of Wall Street for the 100th time.
Do you actually watch Wolf of Wall Street, or do you just turn it on and then do something in the background?
No, I love that movie. I'll do both. Okay. I'll either watch it or I'll just have it on in the background. Okay. But again, typically I don't ever really have movies on, so. Star Wars, every once in a while I'll get into like a Star Wars kind of thing, and I'll listen to the sequels like while I'm driving or something like that,
You'll listen to the sequels, right?
Not the sequels, the prequels. Yeah, like I'll start from the beginning, and I'll mostly listen to them. Yeah, because I'm driving, so I can't watch them. So I listen to them, and then I can just visualize it all in my head. I did that when I was a mailman. I would put on like a movie or a show that I've seen before, and just like kind of visualize it. Like I remember I watched Death Note a few years ago. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. And like I started trying to watch like some other show, and I was like, I just want to rewatch Death Note. So I watched Death Note again. Like I watched it back to back from start to finish. But when I watched it the second time, it was a lot of just listening. It's a lot of listening to Death Note. Yeah, I like doing that.
I don't think I've ever like had an experience where like I watched something like a movie or TV series and then like watched it again immediately after.
Yeah, that was the first time it ever happened for me. First and last time. I mean, there's some things that I watched that just absolutely floor me. Attack on Titan comes to mind, but I didn't finish Attack on Titan and go like, oh, I gotta watch all of Attack on Titan a second time. Although that's probably a show that would be good to watch a couple times, because the show's like some things happen and then later on you realize like, oh, there's a payoff to that thing which I didn't even think was important. That happens a lot in that show, so you can rewatch it and the show's completely different. I mean, unbelievably different when you watch it over. So yeah, I don't know. I like doing that. I like listening to movies and shows.
I mean, like if you can mindlessly do it while doing work, it makes sense.
Yeah, and I'll just
Like
visualize.
you were driving at the time, and you're just listening, and then delivering packages.
Exactly.
So,
Anakin,
right.
drop. Like I know what's happening in that. His midichlorians are off the charts. No one has this much but Master Yoda. Yeah, it's all in my head.
Do you ever picture the like the action sequences like quite differently in your head? I could imagine
Action's a little bit, right? Yeah, action's a little bit hard. Like when it comes to the prequels, I watched The Phantom Menace just over and over when I was a kid. It came out when I was 8 years old, so it was just like unbelievable timing in terms of how old I was and that movie coming out, right? Because Anakin's like the age of me. In the prequel, when I'm watching it for the first time, I thought Jar Jar was hilarious. So it was like, I understand why older Star Wars fans were like, what in the hell am I watching? But for an 8-year-old, it was amazing. So when I think about the action sequences, I think that of all the Star Wars movies, that's the one that I could probably visualize most of the action. Based on just listening to it, even the lightsaber battle with like Darth Maul, just because I've watched it so many times.
Okay.
Yeah. Episode 2, Episode 3, I could probably get, probably not as familiar with, but the pod racing scene too. God, those sound effects from Star Wars, unbelievable. It's like, oh my God, it was so cool.
That thing drowned out like almost the sound of almost everything else. God.
Yeah. The one guy's thing is blowing
annoying,
up. I loved it. What movie for you when you were a kid just like hit you and you were just like, oh my God, this is just amazing?
What movie as a kid hit me and it was amazing?
Yeah, that like you just
probably over and over again.
That you just remember being like floored by. You were just like, wow, this is just incredible. Like I watched Star Wars Episode 1, Star Wars Episode 2, especially Episode 2 as well, Attack of the Clones, just so many times. I had all those Lego sets. Like the prequels were just so big for me. Yeah, what was that for you? What did you watch as a kid?
I'm trying to think. I probably watched like I don't know, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
Okay.
Quite a bit as a kid.
I can see that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely that for sure. Probably quite a bit.
Spider-Man was incredible.
Yeah, I know, right? I remember like the first trailer, like the teaser trailer that they had, like spin your world upside down or whatever. Like that was like the how they have their like captions or whatever that pops up in the actual trailer itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember like or turn your world upside down being like the words that they used for the teaser trailer. And like after that he's like jumping off like the bridge and like trying to grab like MJ and like the kids or whatever.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
I think Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, that was huge for me. just that Battle of Helm's Deep. I remember replicating that with like my Legos, you know, lifting up all the ladders as like people are trying to attack, and then people up top like pushing the ladders over. Like that was just like burned into my brain.
Really? I think I saw the first Lord of the Rings movie more than I watched the second.
Interesting. Really?
Yeah, the battle in the Mines of Moria, like
Yeah.
the introduction, like the first time you're actually seeing all of the orcs or the
Goblins,
orcs,
whatever they are. I think there were goblins in the mines.
Yeah, and like the whole like body falling down like the well.
Yeah.
You know.
Poor Pippin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had much.
I did love the second one too.
Yeah, I've had much more of an appreciation for Fellowship of the Ring like as an adult than I did when I was younger. Like I like the mines, and of course like the, you know, the last scene where Boromir's fighting off all the orcs and stuff like that. But I think as an adult, like I have way more appreciation, because like as a kid you're just watching it and you know you're seeing the battles and stuff like that, right? But as an adult you're like, oh, this whole Fellowship thing like completely failed. Like the end of the first movie, the whole mission has all but failed. The main guy, Gandalf, is dead, or so you think. Boromir, the second best warrior, arguably with a sword at least, is dead. You got Frodo and Sam going off on their own. What are they gonna do? And then Aragorn
split up, yeah.
Yeah, Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas are like, okay, well, I guess that's it. What do? We go after them? And then he's like, nah, let's go back and try and save Merry and Pippin. And it's like, what a... could you imagine choosing that? Could you imagine being Aragorn? And you're like, we're supposed to take Frodo to Mordor, but he's kind of taken off. Hey, you know what? Let's go after these other two guys. Like, what a crazy decision to make. There's part of me that still doesn't really understand that decision, because I would think that, like, protecting the ring bearer would be the top priority. But, you know, whatever. I wonder if he was worried about everybody else getting corrupt eventually by the ring. And so he was like, you know what, maybe it's better for them to go off on their own. I didn't think about that till now.
Yeah, but you'd also think that, you know, like, there being a smaller group or whatever, it's just him and Sam, right? So, like, what are the chances of the ring corrupting Sam? You know?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Who's going to stop Sam?
That's a very good point. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, dude. The end of that movie, it's just like, wow, all of that fell apart.
And then they all knew Gollum was following, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, they knew he was following in the mines at least.
Yeah.
I want to know how he got across that bridge though.
He's Gollum, man. Like he gets around.
Just climbed on the walls.
He's climbing the walls like a freaking goat or something, you know? Like...
What's it doing? I gotta rewatch those at some point. Have you played any video games in the last week?
I've been playing Borderlands 2 for the stream.
Oh.
We beat the Tiny Tina DLC in Borderlands 2.
Nice.
So we move on to the pre-sequel. After that, we come back to Borderlands 2 and finish off this one last DLC that leads you back into Borderlands 3. So, played a bit of that. I played a little bit of MCC. I think was it late Saturday night with Rabble, or was it Sunday night? I think it might have been Sunday night right after work.
Nice.
With Rabble, we were playing some Halo Combat Revolved. And we finished off that campaign. It was an interesting mod. Campaign for that. But yeah, beyond that, I mean, it hasn't really been too much. Oh, and I think Overwatch. I was playing a little bit of Overwatch after work last night with Shadow.
It's good to hear that you're getting a bunch of gaming in. That's awesome.
Yeah, here and there, wherever I can fit it.
Right.
An hour or two, you know.
I'm gonna get some more gaming in. I've been playing a bit of Breath of the Wild still. I just completed it today, actually. Did you ever play through Breath of the Wild?
No.
There's these things called shrines. There's like 120 of them, and each one is like a mini, puzzle essentially. And I was going to do all of those before like going to try and complete the game, and then today I was just like, you know what? Let me just play through this. We got Hogwarts Legacy coming out on Friday. Part of me wants to kind of play that, so I kind of wanted to have like a clean slate if I was gonna get that game. And so I just finished Breath of the Wild, and that was, I have to say, I know everybody like hypes up Zelda games, of course, and everybody hypes up Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is my second favorite most story of any Zelda game, I think. The way they deliver it to you is just really, really fascinating, really cool. It has way more depth than any other Zelda game, with the exception of maybe Ocarina of Time. And I really liked it. I really, really liked it. And they got the sequel to Breath of the Wild coming out a little bit later this year, I think in March, called Tears of the Kingdom. And so I'm just like totally primed and ready for that game. I'm so excited, man. I'm so excited for that game to come out.
Sorry, that's coming out this year?
Yeah, it's called Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Apparently, Breath of the Wild came out with like 2 different DLC things. And the creators just had so many ideas for DLC. And they were like, look, instead of having Breath of the Wild and having like 18 DLCs, why don't we just make another game? And so that's what they're doing. They're just making a sequel to the Breath of the Wild, which sequels are very rare in the Legend of Zelda universe. They typically don't happen that often. But so we're getting a sequel, and I am just totally excited. I'm totally jacked for it. I haven't seen a whole lot of it. They haven't released a whole lot, but from what they're showing, it looks really, really cool. And so I'm just very happy to be in like a Legend of Zelda mood right now. I actually, my 5-year-old Ezra, he started playing Ocarina of Time. I was really liking it and enjoying it. And it was kind of sad. Did you ever play Ocarina of Time?
I've not played a single Zelda game.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I missed out on playing all that.
The minor spoiler for the very beginning of the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. There's this thing called the Great Deku Tree. Okay. And I'm going to spare you the whole story, but essentially you have to save the Deku Tree by going inside of the Deku Tree because it's a giant tree, and that's like the first dungeon. The first dungeon is inside the Great Deku Tree. And so when you finish it, you kill the boss inside the dungeon. You come out, and then you've cleaned the Deku Tree of like the parasite that's been living in him, right? But he is already too far gone, and so he dies, right? So the Great Deku Tree dies, and then basically gives you a mission for the rest of the game. Okay, so Ezra was taking a long time to go into the Deku Tree because he was kind of scared of the monsters. He didn't really want to fight the monsters. I'm like, hey, buddy, he's like, I want to explore the world. I was like, well, you can't really explore the world until you help out the Deku Tree. They keep telling you that you got to go help the Deku Tree. And he's like, I just don't want to right now. I'm like, I get that. So we kept playing, and then I was like, do you want me to go into the dungeon? Because I wanted him to experience and kind of see what it was, because I think like in his mind it was scarier than it really was. But I also wanted him to enjoy like solving the puzzles with me, and he had so much fun doing that. I was like, all right, Ezra, what do you think we do in this room? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, well, what do you see? You know, and so like he was solving the puzzles in the game, and he was just getting so excited. He just didn't really care for the combat. So finish the Deku Tree. We get out. The Great Deku Tree dies. And so he and I were having a conversation as we were driving someplace the other day. I forget where. And so we were talking about the Legend of Zelda. And I go like, yeah, so, you know, the evil man put a curse on the tree. And so, you know, no matter, you know, like the tree just doesn't make it. And he goes, did the tree die because I took too long to get into the tree? And I was like, no. Like, I was like, no, that's just part of the story. That's just part of the story. Like, no matter how fast you get in there, the same thing's going to happen. He's like, oh, okay. So I didn't realize, you know, how much, you know, for a 5-year-old, like, doesn't understand, oh, this is like a set story that somebody already made, you know? And so, like, just being able to experience that with him is just like, it's so much fun. I love it.
Sounds adorable.
Yeah, it was really cool. I played a little bit of Halo today for the 1v1 tournament. That was fun.
1v1 tournament.
Yeah. I played against a gentleman named... Go ahead.
Tater. right?
Yeah, I went up against Tater.
How did that go?
So the first game, it was fairly close. All 3 games were fairly close. Very rarely were either of us more than 2 kills ahead of the other person. So we were basically just going back and forth. And realistically, most games he was ahead, and then I was like catching up, and then he'd get ahead and I would catch up. So the first game was on Guardian, and I got beat. I really got beat like 11-10. Time was running out. He had grabbed camo, and I was like, okay, I kind of have to just like be aggressive here because I got no shot anyway. So he ended up winning 13-11.
Wow.
Or 13-10, I forget exactly what it was, but he beat me. And then we're going into the second game, and I'll be honest, I'm a bit rusty on the controller. I haven't been playing a lot of Halo. We go into the second map, and the second map is a map I've never played before, I've never seen before, and it was confusing. I didn't even realize that you could like get up top on one of the maps.
Oh, you played, it was Sandpit, the second map, right?
Yeah, that's it. Sandpit. Yeah.
Right, so Guardians first, which is the one that you probably would remember. Like the
yeah, that's the one I thought if I had a chance on it would be that one, since I know the map. Got smoked on it.
Okay, so you played this new one, which is Sandpit, and it's like it's a significantly smaller map that has like all the little sections, right? The little alcoves, I would like to say.
Yeah.
Like I want to say there's a shock rifle in the middle, if I recall.
There is a shock rifle.
An overshield.
And an overshield. You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the game was kind of one-sided for most of it, where like he was in the lead and he was getting the shock rifle, he was getting overshield, and I just like I was doing good in my 1v1 battles with him, like with the battle rifle, but whenever he got the jump on me or whenever he got a power up, like I didn't know what to do. But I turned it around by the end and ended up beating him, I think like 15-11 or 15-12 or something like that. And then we went to a game 3, which was going to decide it. And I ended up beating him by 2 points. I think it was 2 points. Beat him by 2 points for game 3. So it was very exciting. If you go to Losberger's Twitch, twitch.tv/Losberger, and you look at his previous broadcasts, you will see Tater versus DaddyTrax, or DaddyTrax versus Tater. And it's about an hour long, but really, really fun matches. I feel like I kind of just spoiled what happens, but really, really fun matches that were close. And he's just such a cool guy, such a fun competitor. And I think he and I are very similar in terms of play style, in terms of how we were going into it. Like we both wanted to win, but we were also having fun. So we're like teabagging each other and stuff like that. And then each game was just really close. So it was a lot of fun. I'm really glad that I played.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Glad you had fun.
Yeah, I'm not feeling confident about taking the whole tournament, but you know, it was fun to you know, at least move on from the initial round, I'll say.
Let's take a look at the bracket. So what are we looking at so far? Like so it was you against Tater and you beat Tater.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's either now the next round for you would be either you against Rabble or you against Typographic.
Typographic's really, really, really good. I would love to play against Rabble. I don't know who wins that, but I do know that Typographic's really good. If I play against Typographic, I might get smoked.
You're in the elites division, if you recall.
Well, that's what they say. Yeah. I'm in the elite division.
And then it looks like Grunt's division has already done their stuff, so it's Augs versus Exotic Sniper.
Okay.
So that's the next. So that's for the Elite 8. And then the Jackals division has Phantom Snake.
Oh, I know Phantom.
Eliminated Shadow 6400, unfortunately. But we got Smells Goods versus Ghost coming up at some point, and whoever wins that goes up against Phantom Snake. And then we also have a Game Warrior versus Joe Rushes Mid, and Wakazi versus You Anger Me Mucho.
Yeah, I would love to play against Smells Good in there, but I think he and I have to clear the whole field in order for that to happen.
Yeah, you gotta hit the champion point, right, for you guys to go head to head. Now it's a matter of how badly do you want to take on Smells Goods, and how badly does Smells Goods want to butt heads with you?
Who knows, man? Maybe I'll get fired up, and I'll just go like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna practice. Practice? We talking about practice? Because like when it comes to 1v1s, like and I knew this going into it. Like my brain is my brain. I'm gonna play a certain kind of way, and either it's gonna be good enough or it's not gonna be. But at the end of the day, the thing that I can control by practicing is like how my aim is. You know, how practiced I am, how fluid I am. So when I was going up against Tater today, I was kind of like, all right, my aim's gonna be a bit off, but I've played in 1v1 tournaments before. I'm excited by 1v1 tournaments. I like how I play. And so I just kind of leaned on I kind of leaned on that for this match, and it really worked out. It was fun. It was exciting.
Yeah, did you guys end up having like a little chat after the fact? Like, did you get pulled into chat with Burger and all that such?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Okay. I'm gonna have to check out. I'm definitely gonna have to check out the VOD. I have been watching some of the VODs, as like I watched the Shadow versus Phantom Snake match. After the fact, I watched Golden Striker versus Oggs. After the fact, unfortunately, I gotta try to make it there for one. I have to like for one. I'm trying, but I'm never at home at a reasonable time.
I get it, man.
And then I'll be like, okay, maybe at work, maybe I can try to like sneak it in at work, and like I got wrapped up.
I get that, man.
With like cleans or something at work.
I totally get that. But yeah, it was definitely fun, and I really like that guy. I want to play Halo with him again or something.
That'd be cool.
You know. Yep. Is it the same 3 maps for every round, or is it different?
So now that you're done those 3 maps, it's gonna be another set of 3 maps after when you move on to the Elite 8.
Are they all different, or do we know what they are right now?
It'll be Lockout, Aligned, and Midship.
Wow. Lockout and Midship.
Set.
I know those, but I know Rabble and Typo probably know those too. What was the other one? Alignment?
Yeah, Alignment.
Is that a remake?
No, I think that one is its own like separately made map.
Beautiful.
I get a little mixed up with some of the map names. If I'm correct, I think Alignment is the one that's like a big circle. It's like a big circular map that has 2 levels to it with some spires in the middle.
Okay. Love a good spire. Love a good spire.
Yeah, I think that's that one.
Yeah. I'm really thankful.
After that, we don't know what the other ones are.
Okay. Okay. I was just going to say, I'm really thankful for this tournament. I'm really thankful for how everybody's getting involved and how everybody's playing. And, you know, if, especially compared to like what you see online or what you see in articles or what you see on Twitter, what you see on YouTube. You know, it seems like the whole Halo world is on fire. But when you get into these communities, when you get down into the actual people who are really playing the game, it seems like people love Halo. You know, it's refreshing to see that, to feel that, to hear that, and to watch it, to be a part of it. And it's actually why I made the title of this. You know, your community determines how much like you're enjoying Halo. I think it's so true. I think it has so much to do with like the people who you're around and if they like Halo and it's, I don't know. This is like some of the most fun I've had with Halo. And some people would argue that Halo's at its lowest point right now, but I just don't feel that way. I just don't see it the same way. You know?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Your community does determine your enjoyment. And I mean, I've said this several times for myself. It's just like you play what you enjoy. Right? So if Halo Infinite's not the game for you, then you still have MCC to back up on, right?
Yeah.
You can play MCC. You could go back to Halo 5. I've been watching some of Katie's streams every once in a while, and she'll raid I think someone named Nicotina, and he's sitting there playing Halo 5 and like having the time of his life playing Halo 5.
That's so funny. Right? I can't even
like,
imagine people playing Halo 5 right now.
Well, yeah, there are. In fact, I think he's streaming right now Halo 5.
I believe it, right? But part of me thinks like, well, if you don't want like modern Halo, which in my head, like Halo Infinite is the best modern Halo. If you don't want that, then obviously you're going to be playing Halo 2 or Halo 3 or Halo CE or Halo Reach even. like one of the original games. So to hear that somebody's playing Halo 5 is like, why? That's so interesting. But look, if he's playing it and he's going up against people, clearly there's a bunch of people who still really like Halo 5 and they're still playing it. So I think that's cool. I just, again, like you're in your own little bubble until you realize that other people are like really enjoying something, and then you're kind of like, oh, I didn't know people were playing Halo 5 still. You know, I really didn't. But it makes sense.
Right, yeah.
Statistically, somebody's got to be out there playing Halo 5, you know.
Well, yeah. It's not like the servers have been shut down.
Right.
Like people were playing Halo 3 for so long. And that's not even when MCC was there.
Yeah.
They still went back to Halo 3. Right? And that was on a peer-to-peer connection anyways. So, I mean, that wasn't too big of a deal, but
right.
On another note, I don't know if you've seen this, but I don't know. I've mentioned Corridor Crew on the podcast before.
Yeah.
It's a YouTube channel I watched. So apparently they had created a little like a mini trailer of their own for Halo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was really cool. So they took assets from Halo games, like the character models and all that stuff from Halo games.
Yeah.
They threw it into I think Blender, if I remember correctly, and from there, they like spruced it up and made their own like trailer for a story, like a short story or a film called Halo Cold Storage.
Cool.
It's like yeah, so it's based off of like an ODST. I think an ODST might meet a Spartan or something, and like it's just like a trailer, like a teaser trailer. Like, yeah. There is no like real huge story. There's because it's meant to just tease the idea of like, oh, like this is possible kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like one of their animators, they specifically kind of like they wanted to learn how to animate because they wanted to do like the stuff for Halo like this, and so like they took the opportunity to, now that they've had 10 years of experience kind of thing, learning how to animate all that stuff. They took the opportunity to put together their own little trailer, and that's been shared. It's been shared quite a bit.
Oh, I gotta check that out.
They even got in. I think. Sorry.
I said, oh, I gotta check that out.
Yeah, I think even Marty O'Donnell has like even commented on it as well.
Wow.
It looks like on the YouTube video he says there's a comment there that's from Marty, and he's like, "Nice. Let me help your crew with the singing, however, and lose the slide whistle." It was like a little joke that was in there when they built up before the trailer, because they do like a little bit of like the thought process and the breakdown of how they created it. Right?
Okay.
And there was a point where like they got these two people in the room, and like the entire like crew, they were singing the Gregorian chant, and they brought out a slide whistle to do the da-da-da-da like part. So but yeah, I mean, and then I found out that there's a bunch of other like like little like videos that are like that, and just other people are creating these trailers for live action Halo, or like a Halo movie or Halo TV series or something.
Did you see the guy who did the silent cartographer intro?
Yes,
he redid that.
Yes, I did post that up on the Discord when I saw
it. That was so good, man. It was so cool to watch that.
Yeah, it was really cool, right?
That's one of those things where like you see something like that, and then my whole idea of like the Halo TV show needs to, it's okay if it's different. It just goes like, you know what? Maybe it should have been closer to the source material. Maybe it should have been not one for one, but maybe include what you have in the game and then have like some characters and go into some more detail and stuff like that. I watched that and I was just like, oh man, this has the grittiness. It has the feel of something that's dangerous. It has, like, oh, humans are badass here. Like, it was so enjoyable to watch. That's part of the problem of like being a Halo fan, is like you see some things that are so cool and so well executed and so done, and then it's like, oh, just give that guy the job. Give that guy the job to do the cutscenes. It's like, just hire him, please. He's so good at this. But then part of you realizes like, look, this guy might have been working on this thing for like 6 years, and he's gotten 3 minutes out of it. So like, who knows? I mean, maybe he's really good. you don't know what all goes into it, of course. So they can't just hire anybody out there. But I don't know. You know what? They hired Pixel Flare, the artist.
Yes, that is a good point. They did.
I remember seeing his art and just going like, "Oh my god, his art is so good. Why don't they?" And then they hired him, and now it's like, "Oh, I see his art all the time, and it's good, great art in my opinion. I think it looks really cool, pops, and
don't forget about the developers and like the people that made the Halo Online thing.
Yeah,
they brought them on, and they brought they brought like some of their maps into Halo 3 on Master Chief Collection.
That's true. That's very true.
I'm hoping to see more from them soon. I would love to. Like, I would love to see some more maps get mixed into MCC. You know.
Yeah, I feel like they could definitely let some people have control over being able to make maps and implement them and stuff like that. They totally should have. They should definitely do that. I think 343 could really benefit from giving more tools. And I know it's like, well, they have Forge. No, I hear that, but I mean, like, maybe even some more tools to people who are out there, to let them kind of like create things, like Halo 3 maps, something like that. Not Forge, but like real developer made maps, just developed by community members. Halo Infinite has a community event going on right now with Forge maps, which is that's awesome. It's awesome because it seems like the turnaround time for that was really quick. And, I've seen a lot of positive things being said about that playlist. I think it's really cool that that's out there. So like the Halo community, say what you want about Halo, say what you want about the Halo community when it comes to like being negative and being angry, blah, 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 blah. I don't know if there's any other gaming community that parallels not just the quality of content, but like the diversity of the quality of content. You got people putting out amazing maps. You got people redoing cutscenes. You know what I mean? You got people making fan-made trailers and acting, and Halo has such a wide variety of creators. I can't really think of any other gaming franchise that's really the exact same way, with the exception of maybe some of the PC stuff with like some of that source engine for where like Left 4 Dead ended up coming from, and Gary's Mod and stuff like that. That stuff obviously was really creative people, but I don't know, like there's just the Halo community, just you can see the love for the franchise by how much the community continues to create for a game that's quote unquote dead according to the internet,
Right, but also the Halo community are the same people that are keeping Halo. Like,
exactly.
Halo was never really meant to be competitive, right? It's an arcade shooter, man. That's what it is. That's the way even when it came out, like when they came out with Halo CE, you were meant to just sit there and run around in Blood Gulch for hours on hours upon each other, just killing each other for the sake of killing each other, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It was basically like, hey, here's the assets from the campaign, use them against each other. There was never like oh yeah, this is definitely for like competitive people. And you know what? I think Bungie was kind of like, to what you're saying, they were kind of just like, look, make what you want out of it. Have fun with your friends.
And that's where you get your machinimas, like red versus blue.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You get that, right? And like now that they've allowed for modding tools as a thing for MCC.
Very cool, by the way.
The community is creating their arcade. I just read Ravel's comment.
Yeah,
I was like, was he mad about something?
Hey, asshole! I ran around Blood Gulch for hours competitively.
I was like, what the hell? Oh man, my heart skipped a beat on that. Like, what did I say wrong?
Yeah, the Canadian in mystery went like, what did I say? What did I do?
What did I do?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Oh man, that's good. But yeah, like the modding community are creating like very arcadey kinds of things. I looked at the showcase on Steam, and they have like a Halo Mario Kart for Halo CE kind of thing.
Whoa, really?
Right? Yeah. Right. So, and that seems very arcadey to me. You know.
Yeah, and I think that that's been the beautiful thing about Halo is that it's competitive for competitive people. It's fun for people who are just looking to kind of have fun. It's a great story for people who are looking for a great story. It Halo is whatever you want it to be, and that's what makes it so. That's what makes it so amazing.
Yeah, quite literally. And Forge being brought into Halo 3 is the stepping stones for making it what it is today as well, right?
And that's the cool thing about Forge.
Yep.
Yeah. You get all the like the racing out of Forge, but you also get. I mean, I don't know if you remember if you were watching MLG back in the Halo 3 days. Some of the best maps for MLG were Forge made. They were Forge made maps. It's like Forge is basically just giving the community like the creative keys, for the engine. And, again, it's like whatever you want Halo to be. Well, the map makers are kind of like, yeah, like, let's make something competitive here. Let's make something fun here. So it's like, I don't know. Halo is somehow able to satisfy. And that's why it's crazy whenever you hear people say, like, Halo is supposed to be casual. Halo is supposed to be Halo's not supposed to be anything. It's supposed to be all of it. It's supposed to be not like it's whatever you want it to be. And that's what makes it really cool. Although I think you could make the argument that like originally the purpose was certainly not competitive because competitive gaming wasn't really a thing. Back in 2001, I should be careful in that statement. I could be wrong about that, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. Arcade shooter. Let's hopefully we can keep it that way. And oh sorry, there was a point where that I was getting to. Remember how a couple weeks ago there was the whole oh my god, Halo is dead. It's not gonna die, man. It's not dying because the community is gonna keep it alive, and the tools that we have is what's gonna help us keep it alive. Nothing's proved that more to me than the modded stuff that I've been playing with Rabble.
Yeah, 100%. Did you hear about there's a Discord that got some servers up and running where if you want to play Halo 3 on the Xbox 360, you can do that when they turn their servers on during certain days of the week. So you can join the Discord and like it has ranks and everything else, and you can just play regular Halo 3 matchmaking. You don't need to download any tools or anything like that. You just boot up Halo on your Xbox 360 or on your Xbox One. And like when they turn on their servers, you can basically play on them to play like original Halo 3 matchmaking. I mean, when people are doing that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
Right, exactly. You bring up a good point there.
So
eventually, like, yeah, some of the hardcore fans, like, some people will dish out money to buy servers to make it, to make a server, to make that a thing. Right?
Yeah.
Like, to keep it alive. I mean, sure, you may not get new stuff from the actual developers, but you will get new stuff from the community.
And the tools are so good right now that it's like, if the developer didn't do anything else except for kind of like just take the content that the community's making and sort of like put it in a way where it shows up in matchmaking and stuff like that, I don't think anybody would be really upset about that. Like back in the day, people wanted developer made maps because there was a giant difference in quality between what the developers could make and what Forge could make. It's not the case with this game. It's just flat out not the case with this game. The Forge is so unbelievable. It is just not the case with this game. So I love it. I love this. I love the Halo community. Most of it, some of it. I love our community. I love the communities that we know that are in close proximity to us.
Oh, pun intended.
It wasn't intended, but that did work.
Pun not intended, but it was a great pun nonetheless.
And I don't know. I'm on board. I know I'm not playing it as much because I've been playing some Legend of Zelda, and we got Harry Potter coming out, and then Zelda again. But
oh no, we have to revoke your license for a Halo fan. You're playing other games that are not Halo. Oh my lord.
I know. Yeah, but the problem is,
That was
like,
sarcasm, by the way.
I'm just, no, I know. But, like, I'm not even playing Halo, though, so I gotta be careful, you know? It's not true. I played Halo tonight. Everyone get off my back.
I'm sorry, I'll just get off that thing.
Yeah, get off my back. Get off of my back. No. I'm excited. I'm excited for season 3. We got Infection coming down the line soon, apparently.
Oh yeah?
That'll be fun when that's
evidence
released.
of that or something? Like
yeah,
leak or something?
There were a lot of leaks yesterday about a lot of stuff. I don't necessarily want to get it all into it tonight because I'm not as familiar with everything. But one of the things that was leaked was an Infection mode, where instead of it being like Flood, it is the Icarus brute AI that like infects a Spartan, and then that's the person who's like infected, and I guess if he kills you, then you become infected.
Oh, that's interesting. A neat little twist on it being Blood, but is that one of those like, oh, we gotta make it canon kind of things or whatever?
My guess,
the whole war games in Halo 4. I mean, hell, you wanted to jump in on it like another time. We can probably talk about it next week.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about this part. Like, my guess for the reason why they're doing it the way they're doing it is because they didn't make the Flood character models, and they were kind of like, well, we gotta kind of figure something else out here. And so I think that the whole like brute, I imagine that when they were coming up with the with that brute AI that released season 2, okay, we're talking like 6 months ago. They had the idea of how that could also work for Infection as well, because at the very beginning of it, like the brute AI did take over like a Spartan, and they were trying to save him by getting the brute AI out of the Spartan. So it lends itself well to the idea, you know, if you're into lore and you want everything to line up that way, yeah, it does kind of work with the narrative and everything like that. But I think practically it's like, well, we didn't want to make Flood character models like we did for Halo 5, and we wanted to have some kind of reason why people were changing colors or something, so we'll go with this.
Yeah, at that point sometimes I feel like you're just overthinking it, right? I mean, but I guess in this situation it coincides with whatever story that they're trying to tell with the multiplayer stuff. So I mean, I guess we can let that slide. But like, you know, like why do we need to have a canon connection for, oh, you start off as a Spartan that's like this, okay, and then you die and then you become infected and you just become a black Spartan, or like, what was it? It was just black, or was it gray or whatever in Halo 3? I can't remember. But
well, I remember back in Halo 2, I want to say,
yeah, does it actually just switch teams?
Yeah, you would switch teams. Right? Zombies were green.
Yeah.
And I think that everybody else was red. I think you were on red team unless you got killed by a zombie, then you were turning green. Halo 3, I imagine, was the same thing. And then Halo 4, what did Halo 4 do for Infection?
That was the one with the Flood model that you were talking about earlier.
Didn't Halo 5 have Flood models too for Infection?
Negative.
Oh, really?
They had a sword. They had like a specific. They just had a green and black sword or something like that. You're
right. It was like a green and black, but they were basically they were basically green Spartan models. Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
Now it's like showing up in my head how it was. Oh, that's so weird that they had the Flood. I thought the Flood models were for Halo 5. No, but you're absolutely right. Okay, so yeah, I mean, they could have just done that same thing again. I don't know. Maybe they were excited to do it. Like, hey, let's tie it in. This will be fun. I'm with you. I hope that they're not spending lots of energy going like, well, how do we make this tie into the narrative? But if somebody was like, oh, this could be cool, you know, you could just have it connect to this guy. Oh, okay, yeah, let's do that. That's not hard.
Right, yeah. That's true.
Like, I'd be okay with that scenario, but I'm with you. Like, let's not spend a ton of resources on, like, how do we make all this make sense with each other? Like, it's just a game type,
if they were going out of their way, yeah, to make that happen, then I guess, you know. at that point, I feel like they would just be overthinking it. But
it is what it is. But I'm excited for Infection. I think that'll be definitely a fun game mode. And when that releases, it has a lot of other functions for stuff like custom games as well. A lot of people think of Infection as just kind of like zombies, catch one, catch all. But like Infection is also the game mode that's responsible for the game types where like everybody's driving their vehicles down a giant ramp trying to run over people. And if you get run over, then you're hopping into a vehicle. Like that's also Infection. So it's like that game mode and that mechanic is really important for a lot of the very enjoyable custom games that everybody knows. Well, anything else that you want to touch on before we head out of here for the night?
No, I think that's about it. One of the biggest things I wanted to bring up was the Corridor Crew video because I just thought it was just really cool. It was really cool to see. I'll post it up in the Discord channels, and then you guys can go ahead and take a look at that if you guys want to. What else was there though? I thought there's an event that just started recently for Halo Infinite. I think it's like a 10-tier, a quick like 10-tier thing, battle pass or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's Halo Reach related. Something about the older one of the character like armor sets is like the older Noble 6 that died before you replaced it, I think.
Yeah, so two members from Noble Team who died before the events of Halo Reach. One of them being the one that you replaced as Noble 6. So yeah, you're exactly right.
And the other one's Noble 4, if I remember correctly, right?
I don't remember the exact number. You might be right though.
Right, okay. Yeah, and then there is something else that I saw. I quick glance. There was some audio script or something, or like some kind of like dialogue, something that they posted up on Halo Waypoint, Halo Winter Contention. While I was waiting for the link for the podcast, I just had a quick little glance over it. Looks like some kind of audio book or something.
Yeah, so that audio book is dealing with the Noble Spartans.
But Halo Reach was dealing with the Noble Spartans.
The two Noble Spartans that we're just being introduced to right now.
Okay, I see.
You're like, they already talked about the Noble Spartans in lore, and that was the game Halo Reach, Jonathan.
Yeah, that was the game Halo Reach, you know?
Come on, Trax. My bad. All right. Anything else? You ready to wrap up?
I think we should wrap it up, yeah.
Let's do it. Where can people find you, Mystery, and what do you got going on this next week?
Tomorrow we are doing our first session for Tomb of Annihilation, officially.
Hey.
That's on twitch.tv/REALMISTRY.
Very nice. I am not really doing anything right now other than working. I have some thoughts. I'm starting to get some creative juices coming back for content and for stuff like that. For the last couple months, I've been completely consumed by work. And so I got some things starting to kind of flow in my brain right now. One of them being the Discord, actually. I think I want to simplify that giant mess over there, to put it lightly. So yeah, I'm starting to feel more like I'm back, slowly but surely, kind of getting back into the things. But in the meantime, you can find me on Twitter at Daddy_Trax. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. So enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you guys. Be safe during the weekend, and we will see you guys back here next Wednesday night on Twitch for the live stream, or next Thursday morning for your local podcast delivery. Cool?
All right, 7 a.m. This is true.
Just getting right into the rave, baby. Right into the rave.
There you go. All right. It's not as depressing anymore, is it?
Yeah.
The upsetting part was they had to leave us. You know?
Yeah,
we had to wait for a whole week.
Gotta make it a little bit more upbeat. I think I might let this go past 30s.
The next round.
Exactly.
You don't surrender. No surrendering to typographic or Rabble.
Exactly. All right, guys, have a good one. Very cool. Everybody who was here for the live stream, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. And bye-bye. See you all later.